So it says how long until the penny reaches the ground. Again, ground level is 0. So I'm going to write this as negative 16x squared plus 256. 256 is divisible by 16, so I'm going to factor out a negative 16. So we're left with x squared minus 16. This is a difference of squares, so this would be negative 16 times x plus 4, x minus 4. Because positive 4 and negative 4 multiplied by 16, and 4 and negative 4 add up to be a positive 0, or add up to be 0, because there's no x term in the middle. We can set each piece equal to 0 now, so x plus 4 equals 0, so x would equal negative 4, and x minus 4 equals 0, so x would equal 4. Because they're talking about time, we need our answer to be positive, so the only answer possible is x equals 4. X minus 4 is not a solution, because time cannot be negative. Okay? All right. Next part, find the intervals of positive. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to factor, so this is going to be x and x. What multiplies to be 24, adds or subtracts to be 5 would be 8 and 3. And negative 8 and a positive 3. And if we go ahead and do this, so if we set that equal to 0, x would equal 8 and x would equal negative 3. So what we need to do is we're going to make a little chart here. So we're going to have 8 and negative 3, okay? And we're going to choose numbers on each side of that. So something bigger, actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and put this the right way. We're going to put negative 3 first and 8 next. So next thing I need something smaller than 3, which would be negative 4. Something between negative 3 and 8, which is going to be 0. I always choose 0 if I can because it's an easy number. And then something bigger than 8, which would be 9. Then I'm going to take each of these numbers in the red and I'm going to plug them into the equation. So like I would have negative 4 squared minus 5 times negative 4 minus 24. Okay? And if I do that and type it in the calculator, I'm not going to write each of these down because you guys are perfectly capable of typing things in the calculator. So this would be 12. So that's positive. Okay? If I plug in 0, that's going to be negative 24, which would be negative. And if I plug in 9, I'm going to get, so again, all I'm doing is wherever I put that negative 4, I'm putting a 9. It would be a positive 12, so that's positive. So my intervals of positivity are from negative infinity to negative 3. And I know it's a close or an open bracket because that's a 0. And then 8 to infinity. Okay, same thing here. Since I'm finding the positivity, I can set this equal to 0. So this would be negative x squared plus 4x plus 12. I'm going to divide everything by negative 1 so I can get rid of that negative. So it's going to be x squared minus 4x minus 12, which I can do because it's equal to 0. I can go ahead and factor here. So what multiplies to be 12 but adds or subtracts to be 4 would be 6 and 2. I need a negative 6 and a positive 2. Again, if I set these each equal to 0, x would be 6, x equals negative 2. Again, I think you can do that math. So if I set up my little chart, I have 6 and negative 2, but I want to write them in the right order to help myself out. And we're going to test points. So 0 is between this. This would be negative 3. This would be 7. Okay? We're going to go ahead and plug that in. So the 0 is going to be 12, which is positive. If I do the negative 3, so negative 3 squared plus 4 times negative 3 plus 12 would be negative 9, so that's negative. And if I do that with 7, that's also negative 9, so this would be negative. So it's positive between negative 2 and 6. So my positivity is between negative 2 and 6. All right, same thing here. We need to factor. We're going to multiply this back. That's 36. I'm trying to get 12, which we have 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 6 and 6. There we go. So we're going to break up this 12 to be 6x and 6x, bring down our 18 and our 2x squared. We're going to do some factor by grouping. So we can pull out a 2x, which leaves me with x plus 3. We can pull out a 6, which is x plus 3. These are in common, so we're going to be left with x plus 3 times 2x plus 6. We're going to set each of those equal to 0, so we have x equals negative 3. If I set this one equal to 0, I'd have 2x equals negative 6, x equals negative 3. So they're both negative 3. So we only have to test 2 points. So I'm going to choose 0 and negative 4. If I do 0, that's going to be 18. So that's positive. So our positive is going to be from negative 3 to infinity. If I plug in negative 4, I'll get some sort of negative number. All right. Next thing, this is kind of a long one here. So we know that the x and y intercepts are that, and they pass through negative 1, 8. So I know that because this is negative 1, I'm going to flip the sign. So this would be x plus 1, and this would be x minus 3 because it's a positive 3. And then I know that there can be some sort of a value outside of here. So I need to figure out if that's going to be a thing or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in what I know. So I know y is 8. I don't know a. I know x is negative 4 plus 1. And I know that negative 1 minus 3 is also a thing. So because the negative 1 plus 1 is 0, 0 times anything is 0. So you know what? That does not work out right. How many of these do we have? We have a couple of these. All right. We'll come back to that. All right, so we have our fancy story problem. We have some sort of area that we're trying to find, and it's equal to 1,053. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So I'm going to get x squared plus 12x. I'm going to go ahead and subtract that 1,053 over, so I have 0. And we're going to have to try and find some factors of 1,053, so I'm just going to start dividing. 1,053 divided by 12. 1,053, let's try 11. Oops, that was the wrong number. That's not good. Divided by 13. Ooh, 13 and 81. So I know 9 goes in there now. So 9 and 117. What is 13 times? So 39. So let's divide by 39. 39 and 27. 39 minus 27 should give me 12. All right, there we go. So we'll have a positive 39 and a negative 27 equals 0. We can set each piece equal to 0, so x could equal negative 39 or x could equal 27. Because x is a distance, it has to be a positive number, so x has to be 27. All right, we have this weird thing. They're trying to find the area of the walkway, okay? So I kind of set this up that we're subtracting these things. So we're going to go ahead and FOIL this guy. So we're going to have 9, 2x, 14, and 2x. So 9 times 14 is going to go ahead and give me 126. This is going to be 28x, 18x, and 4x squared. And 9 times 14 is also 126. So this positive 126 and negative 126 cancel out. So I'm left with 4x squared plus 28 plus 18 would be 46x. And then I'm going to subtract that 140 from the other side here. Okay. We are going to go ahead and solve for this. So I'm going to divide everything by 2 just to give myself a little bit of extra wiggle room. Because it's equal to 0, I can do that. Because 0 divided by 2 is still 0. I can multiply this 2 back, so that gives me 140. Factors of 140, that add or subtract to be 23 are 28 and 5. So we're going to have 2x plus 28x minus 5x minus 70 equals 0. We're going to go ahead and factor by grouping for that bad boy. So we're going to have 2x and x plus 14. And we are going to have 70 divided by negative 5 is negative 14. So if I factor out a negative 5, that would be x plus 14. Whoops. Goes 0. So x plus 14 and 2x minus 5 equals 0. Again, we set each piece equal to 0, so x plus 14 equals 0, 2x minus 5 equals 0. X would equal negative 14, which is a distance, so it can't be. So I'm going to add 5, I get 2x equals 5, so x equals 5 halves. So the width of the sidewalk is 2.5 feet. All right, last page here. Okay, so it wants to know the sum of the zeros. So we're going to factor this. So we're going to have 10 and 1. We'd have a negative 10 and a positive 1. So I'd have x equals 10 and x equals negative 1. So 10 plus negative 1 is negative 9. All right, so going back to this problem, I'm going to have to look something up here because I don't remember exactly what I need to do here. So you all are just going to patiently wait while I do that. To write a quadratic with 2 x-intercepts and a point. Yeah, I don't have the vertex. Thanks for the help. Yeah, I know vertex form. So, but I don't know the vertex. I know the 2 x-intercepts. So does it make me want to do all that stuff again? There's no way. Okay. I wonder if I wrote that point down wrong. So in this case, the problem is this is equal to 0, and if we multiply a by 0, then there is no a, so that's not helpful to us. Let's try 38 and see if I can get that one to work. So this one is just going to be x plus 0 and x minus 1. A equals y. Okay. So if I do this, and now our y is negative 2, a, and our x is 2. So we get 2 plus 0 is just 2, times 2 minus 1 is just 1. So times a equals negative 2, so we have negative 2 equals 2a. Divide by 2, a equals negative 1. So we would have y equals negative 1 times x, and we can just write x because x plus 0 is just x, times x minus 1 would be our equation. Okay, but this one, I wonder, what question number was that? 37. Sorry guys, you're going to go on a little trip with me here. Let's see if I can figure out if I wrote the point down wrong. I did. That should be, no, positive 1. Positive 1, positive 1, positive 1. Okay, this is a positive 1. My apologies. We wrote that down incorrectly. Okay, so that means this is a positive 1. This is a positive 1. So this is going to be 2 times negative 2 times a, which equals 8. So we're going to have 8 equals negative 4 times a. So a equals 2. Now that we know a, we can plug that in. So we'll have y equals 2 times x plus 1 times x minus 3. Okay. All right, good luck. Hopefully hunting went well for you today, or chilling out went well for you today. Have a great day. Bye.